So, Jim, what did you think of the Valley of Gwangi?
You know what? I actually liked it. I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't know what I was going into, but from the name, it sounded ridiculous, and I was afraid that it was going to be another Angry Red Planet sort of thing. But it was actually it was a fun watch. It didn't feel like it was an hour and a half long. It felt like really it was like 40 minutes or something. I don't know. The effects were fine. You know, there's no issue there.
Effects were amazing in parts. Like some of those scenes
like,
when they're
absolutely.
lassoing the Allosaurus, that stuff's all really cool.
Well, yeah, even like how they did the lasso. Like, I assume it would have been easier to just put like a little piece of twine or something around your clay figure, but they animated the lasso as well.
Yeah.
Which was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
The acting was fine. You know, I had no issues there. The only thing that was
I thought James Franciscus was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked him, and even Lopi, he was pretty fine. The only thing
for a kid performance in the '60s, I thought he was excellent. He's also based on the actor's name. The actor's name on Wikipedia is Curtis Arden. I'm assuming he's putting on a Hispanic accent, unless it was a Hispanic kid and he just took like kind of a white sounding name.
Oh,
it could have been that too. But I mean, kids suck at accents. Like that's a pretty good accent for a kid if he's putting that on, and I don't know if he is. But
really, the only weak part of the movie for me was the convoluted plot to get to the Valley of the Gwangi.
Okay.
And the whole kind of money-making scheme from the circus with the tiny horse.
Yeah, for me, there were a few issues. The convolutedness, it didn't bother me too much because I was entertained throughout all that. Mm-hmm. Like I liked it was weird, and it's like you can't we just get to the Gwangi, but I enjoyed that first act of we're figuring out the Eohippus, all this like paleontology stuff, and what kind of didn't work for me was that I actually thought the characters worked really well early in the movie, and then it kind of just, you hit a certain point and character doesn't matter so much. Like, they try to do this thing with the riff between TJ and Tuck, but at that point, like, I can't really relate to TJ anymore because she's, like, it's just, it feels like she did a 180, now she just wants to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And then Tuck was more fun when he was like this confident ass dude who just wanted TJ back and he wanted to make a lot of money, and now he's just like, oh, I only want to live in a ranch in Wyoming, and it's like, he's not as fun anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I also, if there was a character that I don't think needed to be in the movie, I'd say it was the old gypsy woman. Just because, like, I don't need, this...
So why is she there? She does the you're all gonna be cursed thing. Yeah. That's a staple of these monster movies, right?
Well, exactly. But I mean, like, I really liked how it opened with the guy dying in that little creek.
Yeah.
With the horse in the bag.
Well, you need someone there to try and release the Gwangi, I guess, right? You have to, because that's, I mean, you could just have the Gwangi escape, like King Kong just escapes. No one's trying to let him out, but...
Or you could have just had Carlos rock up and pick up the bag off the body and bring it to the circus. Because it's already the Forbidden Valley. Like, if a character had just called it the Forbidden Valley or whatever the hell it's called, you'd be like, oh, people shouldn't be going there. Oh, what? This creature came from the Forbidden Valley?
Right, we don't need a literal... Yes, we don't... I guess, technically, we don't need a literal person talking about a literal actual curse, but I don't know. I'm kind of okay with that. I think it's...
I mean, it's silly. I mean, and I'm at the end of the day, I'm fine with it, but,
I like the payoff of a little person being eaten on he's trying to allow this Allosaurus to escape its confinement. I'm okay, and that if you want to go the angle of someone needs to let this animal out, going with a weird group of gypsies who are like, no, this thing should be back in the Forbidden Valley. That's a decent solution to that,
Yeah. And also, too, I mean, something you brought up earlier that I totally agree with you is that I wish the Gwangi had eaten more people or killed more people, or there's a bit more of a rampage, other than him in an amphitheater eating an elephant and then getting out onto a street and then turning around and going directly into a church,
Were you not way more entertained when it was just a couple of cowboys taking on the dinosaur than you were when he's wreaking literal havoc in an entire town?
Yeah, well, because the cowboy stuff was, I don't know, it was just so exciting to see cowboys facing off against a dinosaur.
It's fun and it's different. It's different. It's like I've seen monsters roam about cities before. I haven't seen people trying to lasso an Allosaurus before, I guess. But, I mean, it's also like in King Kong, though, I think I prefer most of the mayhem on Skull Island to the mayhem in Manhattan. I prefer the T-Rex fight. Maybe I'm not just a huge fan of the monster wreaks havoc through a city at third act, you know?
Yeah, I get that. But what are your thoughts on Valley of Gwangi?
It's pretty good. I was not disappointed. I did not... This is the first time I had seen this film, and I wasn't certain of that, because I'm tempted to say there's another Cowboys versus Dinosaurs movie out there. In fact, I'm going to look up to see what that is, because I'm pretty sure there's one in black and white. Okay, there's a movie literally called Cowboys versus Dinosaurs that came out in 2015. Oh, Eric Roberts is in it. Oh, wow. Here it is. The Beast of Hollow Mountain. It's a 1956 Weird West horror film about an American rancher living in Mexico who discovers that his missing cattle are being preyed upon by dinosaurs. So, okay. That also, Willis O'Brien has a writing credit on that as well. So, this film we just saw might be a remake. It might be literally...
No way, really?
Willis O'Brien wrote that story, and then he thought that movie sucked, and he's like, yeah, we can do better, and then he dies, and then... So, anyways... I think it largely gives you what you're hoping for out of a Cowboys versus Dinosaur movie. There's some fun stuff. It's more than just there's a variety of creatures, which is always the best Harryhausen. He's not just doing one monster. He's doing an Allosaurus. He's doing a Styracosaurus. He's doing Pteranodon. He's doing an Eohippus. Like there's a fun in it. He's doing an elephant, which unfortunately the sound designer thought they were doing something else, but that's fun. I think it's a charming movie.
Yeah.
It's a charming movie. It's far from perfect. Thought the character stuff was strong in the beginning, and then kind of petered out and wasn't strong by the end. Thought the acting's fine. James Franciscus pretty good. Richard Carlson is Champ. Nothing really great to say about him. Not that he was bad, but I just wanted to highlight him because he made a bunch of science fiction movies. He's the lead in Creature from the Black Lagoon, among others from the 50s. So I think he's maybe in It Came from Outer Space. Like I've seen him in a number of 50s sci-fi movies, so it's good to see him here. But yeah, I liked it. It's not a film that I'm going to rush out to see again, but I don't regret my $3.99 rental or whatever,
Yeah, it was refreshing. Above all else, I think.
In what way?
Just to see a dinosaur versus Cowboys movie. I think that's something I've never seen. It was an interesting watch. And then also just all the claymation. It was just a nice touch, I thought a movie from 1969 about cowboys and dinosaurs was going to be absolute utter dog shit. And it turned out to be pretty okay.
Why did you think that?
I don't know.
Have you never heard of Ray Harryhausen? Because
I know who Ray
he
Harryhausen
elevates
is.
stuff. You're not getting Angry Red Planet with Harryhausen.
No, but I think the name was tricking me.
Valley of
Gwangi,
yeah.
And I was like, I don't know about this. It was an enjoyable movie, but I agree with you. I'm not going to rush to watch it again anytime soon.